Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. It is week one, Tate. Week one. Favorite time of the year. All the dress rehearsals are over. All the trash talk between Wilco, Ruco, it's over because the rubber meets the road this week, brother.
It's go time. Week one. Friday night. Friday Night Lights. I'm excited.
We're so glad you're here joining us this week. We hope you make your ears bleed, and all of our fans out there, thanks for joining us for season number 5, Tate. Can you believe that?
Hey, they keep re-upping our contract.
I can't believe it.
Woo!
Mr. Producer, he keeps sliding that contract across the table. Our viewership's up. We keep making predictions and making people mad, so we'll keep doing that this year. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be fun. Hey, week one always brings out what in the WCS Sports Conference?
Game day.
And the Battle of
840.
Battle of 840 this week. We're going to start there, but before we get to that, let's talk about the Wilco Ruco Jamboree last week. Your opinion on this event?
I loved it. I think that obviously I can't wait till, I'm assuming next year, if you do it again, you're going to flip it. I think Oakland had the benefit of being on Friday night, without a doubt. I heard they had some larger crowds, but obviously it was Friday night instead of Thursday night. So I think for Thursday night and all the different events that were going on, I know there were middle school football games on Thursday night. I thought the crowds were really good considering. So, and then Friday night, obviously larger, but because of it. But, when you look at all you got to do is look at the teams that were represented. I mean, those are some of the best teams in 6A, 5A, and obviously Nolensville and then Fairview as well. So, I don't know where you could have gone and bought one ticket and seen as many quality teams as you saw either Thursday or Friday night. So, year one, I would say success.
Well, you started off with Fairview versus Cascade. Had a little bit of a storm come in. We had to run the clock a little bit on that. Fairview obviously won that game. I'm going to tell you something that I'm going to put this on your radar, Tate. Put this on your radar. Fairview is going to shock some people more throughout the season than you would think. Why? Their size. They are huge. They're enormous across the offensive line. Cam Harris-Lusk obviously got their new quarterback. They've moved Harris-Lusk out into the receiver spot,
right.
Some of the slot, getting in the backfield a little bit. The Harris boy is now quarterback.
Brock Harris.
And the size, they're not a 3A looking team. Everybody that walked out onto that field on Thursday night said, wow, Fairview's huge.
Well, I think you're right. I don't think they're going to shock anybody because I think people know they're going to be really good. And but that's what's so neat about Brock Harris coming back. One, he's a really good quarterback too. You had your best athlete, your best playmaker, your most explosive playmaker last year outside of Darius James. I understand that. He was at running back. But, in the wide receiver, a guy who can do things from the slot or the outside, Cam Harris-Lusk, you had to play him at quarterback, and he was just a sophomore. He comes back. Now you can put that guy outside. We know this is where Coach Hughes uses his flag football expertise in the playbook. He loves to find ways to get guys like that the ball, and he's doing it. And Cam is an explosive guy, especially on that level. And Brock threw a couple of touchdown passes. One of them was to Cam Harris-Lusk. And you're right, with the size they've got on the defensive line, I think they're going to be fine.
Jackson Clevenger, enormous anchor on that offensive line. Let me tell you something.
And state champion in wrestling, what does that mean? He can move, he's athletic, he's not just a big body out there.
Can we get the first one of the year right here?
Oh,
anybody that lines up against Jackson Clevenger.
Tombstone City.
It's over. Now, let me tell you something. They've got to find 2 more weapons on the offensive side. If they can find 1, maybe even 2, they've got the package complete. I think somebody will emerge. You can't just go Cam Harris-Lusk the entire time. They've got to find 1 or 2 other weapons in that offense. Somebody will emerge. Special teams, they got a good kicker as well. Once those 1 or 2 emerge from that, hey, Region 6 3A, we predicted it. We both agreed. Repeat 3 in a row. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think without a doubt they're the favorite.
In the second game of the night, Summit versus Blackman. Obviously, we knew coming in Blackman was going to look really, really good. They're the second favored team on that Ruco side, if you will, behind Oakland. And all the pundits in the 1 through 1,000 ranking of the high schools this week have, about 6 of those teams in the top 4, 5, 6, in that area.
You talking about the top 129 that came out?
I'm a little biased towards that. But anyways, Blackman is a very good team. I'm not taking anything away from them or Oakland. Very good team. Question marks on the Summit team. Georgia Odomegwu, offensive line. How's all that going to come together? Things, obviously you cannot take anything out of the Jamboree. You really can't. You see a couple of plays, you say, okay, there it is. But I think the defensive side of the ball for Summit has to be the anchor of their team. Number two, long, sustained drives. This is not rocket science. Get ready. Long, sustained drives have to result in scores.
Yeah, well, and I think from what I gather, the opening drive was a long, sustained drive. Then they shot themselves in the foot.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that, especially against good teams. But we have to remind ourselves, Summit's on the 5A level. They're playing top shelf 6A quality teams. But on the 5A level, they still got to do that. If you're going to run that wing tee, you know it. You're going to have to sustain those drives. That time runs off, shorten the games, or, shorten the fields, lengthen the games, however you want to say that. In basketball, it would be 4 corners, right?
That's right.
Shorten, lengthen the possessions.
Well, the best defense sometimes is a good offense, holding the ball, running the game, good running the game.
I'm just glad that you're here because you got some football knowledge.
They're not going to see anybody like Blackman. Now, I think they play some really good teams. Who knows? It's looking like Independent's going to be really good, but they're not like them. Blackman is a big, physical, pound the ball. It's not a wing T type offense, but they're going to run the ball and be physical. So, and from what I gather, it was really kind of they shot themselves in the foot at Summit. You know what I'm saying? And so there were points in the game where they got out physicaled, but I don't think they got out physicaled overall. So, I know Coach Coleman doesn't really care my opinion on this. I would be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You can clean those things up. Now, if they had just lined up and gotten blown off the ball on both sides of the ball and didn't fight, then you got a problem. So I think the things that they had were correctable. You can go ahead and get ready for this now because that offensive line is going to get better and get better and get better. And Odumegwu is one that can take it to the house. So, yeah, they're going to have to build it around the long, sustained drives, and then you got to come away with points. Basically what you're saying is if you go on an 8-minute drive, you got to at least get 3. You got to get points every time because what does that do if you got 8-minute drives? You're limiting how many offensive series you're going to have, chances to score points, right? So you got to make the most of them every time you can. But there will be some long touchdown scores by that young man.
Independence played Laverne on that night. Well-oiled machine early on. Now, what can we take away? We played a half. I know that Laverne, they've had some lean years. They're trying to get back in the conversation of teams over there. But TJ Sheffield, that offense, Cisco played really well. They were very efficient. 2 passes across the middle. Next thing you know, it's a break for a touchdown. And it looked awful easy for the Indy Nation early on.
Yeah, and Laverne's an athletic team. But second play from scrimmage, TJ takes it 65 yards from Cisco, caught another one from Cisco, and then the guy, we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, Isaiah Collier. I'm excited about him, man. Obviously, TJ gets the
potential breakout player of the year.
Well, without a doubt, he is going to be a dude. And what does that do? You see it when you only have one, they can double up on TJ and things like that. Now you got another guy who's a playmaker. That takes a lot off of him. You can't double up on him. What happens? Second play, TJ. It's going to be hard to play TJ Sheffield.
And they had him moving all over the place too. Outside, inside,
That's right.
Jet sweeps. They had him moving all over the place. Of course, the defense starts to shift. Next thing you know, you get a one-on-one on the outside with Isaiah.
Without a doubt, yeah. And that's something that Coach Blade's always done. You go all the way back to the Hillsborough game.
And then you run that the next play.
I love it.
You run a couple bubbles with TJ, and then you run him on this. What about the vert switch? How about that?
Just making sure you had 11 of them.
The vert switch, right? You run it out there, and next thing you know,
Yeah, without a doubt.
And matter of fact, that was one of the ways that Summit got on that score Blackman hit a vert switch on them, and they kind of got messed up in the backfield. But they look awfully good, awfully early.
Yeah, without a doubt. And here's what I like. Not that Cisco didn't have confidence last year. He had confidence, but it was his first year as the starter. He just seems different, man. He seems more comfortable. He seems more confident. If that offensive line can keep people off him,
that's the key.
It's going to be tough now.
That's the key. If the offensive line can do their jobs and do it well, which was what happened when Andrew Bunch. Andrew would tell you too. The reason they went 15-0, the reason he threw for 3,000 plus yards was because those guys did a great job of pass block. So if the same thing happens, just give him plenty of time. You never know what's going to happen. And there's also somebody else back there as well Sooner or later, we'll talk about him, with Ethan Cash as well. But at this time, he didn't play in that game due to injury. But, you got Nolensville. Centennial was the following game. That was
And let's say this real quick. And then there's no way the starters played. What did you go? 2 quarters, right?
2 quarters, yeah.
There's no way the starters played every minute of those 2 quarters.
They played 2 series for Indy.
They scored 28 points.
Yes.
Case strong.
Case closed. Boy, Region 6, 6A.
It's gonna be fun.
Buckle.
But there's some other people that got something to say about that.
Absolutely. We'll get to them. Nolensville, Centennial, very highly contested game. Nolensville. Brandon Wharton, he's the captain of the ship. The ship is going to go as you go, my friend. They started off with 2 interceptions, and Colton Dooley put the ball on the floor. They had 3 turnovers and still figured out a way to win this game 10-7. Now, win, lose, ribbon, here you go. It's in a half. But I thought they showed some moxie. They came back. They kept plugging away. C.J. Ware, I finally got to get 2 eyes on him. Recently, Louisville offered 6'4" defensive end. Dude, he can move. They ran the ball away from him one time. He pursued all the way across the field, got a hit, got in with the hit, caused a fumble to give the ball back to Nolensville on the last drive. Colton Dooley, Tim Stayskill, all those guys, integral parts of that Nolensville night team. Paul Derrick. Tell you what, if they can keep their turnovers down, they'll have some serious success. On the other side of the ball, Centennial, first play of the game, they went 2 minutes. Jario Wilson in the end zone. Listen, and they had some serious energy. So my ingredients for winning recipe with ingredients for winning for Centennial: keep your energy up, and Jario will lead the way.
Yeah, I think the Govs, your alma mater, I think they're getting a steal on Jario. So I hope Captain Positivity knows how great of a guy that he's getting, because that guy can play. So now here's the struggle Coach Kreisky has. He's your most explosive offensive player, but he's a guy who can take a pick and take it back to the house. He's got to be on their defense. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to do a really good job of early on. Managing his snaps, because he's got to be out there. Oh, guess what? Do we have a cupcake game for week 1? No, we got Ravenwood coming to town. Anyways, but yeah, Jariel's special, man. And the thing that I guess to be excited about defensively is that you force 3 turnovers and one of them is a touchdown. The thing I know he's not happy about is you force 3 turnovers in a half, and you come out falling 10-7. He wasn't very happy about that.
Haynesworth. Now, a lot going on during this game. I don't get to see every snap. Not sure that he got a ball thrown to him or a target yet. I feel like at some point in time, he's got to become part.
He will. He hadn't played football. You know what I'm saying? This is his first year.
Oh, I know.
He's an athlete. Here's the bottom
body.
line. If nothing else, and I don't know if they're doing this or not. I'm sure they are. They used to do this with Big John Henderson at Pearl Cone. They didn't have a kicker. You don't remember this because you were probably in college then, but they didn't have a kicker.
Actually, we were in the same time.
Were you? Okay. They never went for an extra point. Every time they scored, they'd split him out to the right. They'd throw it up to him, and they said, hey, we're going to get 50% of them. If nothing else, you teach Ashari to go do that because he's an athlete. He can run, he can catch. We've seen him go up and get the ball in the basketball
fade to the corner.
Whew, how many kids they'll bounce off him like.
So, Thursday night.
He will become a factor.
Thursday night, Fairview wins, Blackman wins, Indy wins, Nolensville wins. On the Friday night slate of games at Oakland, Brentwood, Riverdale shocked a lot of people right here. Brentwood came out on fire and never gave up. Won this in 35 points and a half. 35 points and a half. Tate.
Against Riverdale.
Tater. That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. You know how many different Bruins scored? 5. Think about that.
Just when you think you got the 6A figured out.
Yeah. And what's going to be fun is we've had this quarterback battle all year, all fall camp long. Dylan Stevens, the senior, Cade Granzow, the sophomore. By the way, I don't know if you've seen him, big kid. He is a big kid, good-looking kid, athlete, obviously a really good baseball player. But here's the deal. They keep trying to get one to separate from the other, and neither one's doing it.
Can't do it.
But the good thing is it's not like neither one's taking the bull by the horns and taking – they just both are. And so Dylan had I think was responsible for 3 scores. Cade threw one and also ran one in. Chase Bishop had a touchdown. Avery Williams, McKechnie. Everybody that's a playmaker for them produced. And it's that offense now, one of the questions going into this, how many seniors did Coach have last year? Over 30. Oh, gosh, how are they going to replace them? And I was a little bit like that too. These guys are explosive, man. They're getting after it. And, one of the things was who's going to replace Carson Shacklett? Well, you don't replace Carson Shacklett, but it looks like they're reloading. And, there's not going to be much of a drop-off.
I don't think this is the old saying, if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
I don't believe that.
I think this is a deal where both will play throughout the season. Maybe at some time one emerges over the other, but I still think they play a lot of minutes combined together. I hope that's, one of those things that they, go all in on. Enjoy that opportunity that, when you get in, you've got a specialty that you can really do well. The other one may have a specialty they can do well. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But arguably, you've got the best targets in the WCS Sports Conference.
Well, without a doubt, those two guys on the end. And then the thing that's pretty neat is on the secondary side, Walker Merrill, a guy we've talked about, he would be playing wide receiver if Avery and Bishop weren't there.
And he got a recent offer.
Without a doubt. And he's just a sophomore now. Right. He's going to be a player. Already is a player. He's doing really well at safety. I know they're proud of him on that. And then John House, what was it, the second play of the game, I believe, had an interception. So this might be the biggest group of skill guys Brentwood's had in a while.
Franklin took on Stewart's Creek. Franklin wins that one 10-7. Coach Webb has to be happy with coming out with a win right there right off the bat. Of course, once again, what do you get for reward? You turn around in week one, and you get the granddaddy of them all, Brentwood versus Franklin. What do we know about that game?
Well, they gave up a big play very early on, a long touchdown, and so can't be too happy about that. But what they do, they battled back, and they were able to scrap out a 14-6 win over Stewart's Creek, who's a good football program. Stewart's Creek runs that wing tee, so again, kind of like Summit. It's not like there's a whole lot of series. You've been talking about them. They got a playmaker in Chancellor Bright, 4th and 26, and they convert it. Nichols hit.
He's a player.
He's a player, man. He's good looking. He's different.
He reminds me a whole lot.
Problems.
Standing out there and looking at him in the huddles, he's built and looks just like a Van Jefferson.
Well, that's a heck of a compliment.
I'm just saying. Now, only time will tell whether or not his route running and his speed will be the ability of Van Jefferson. And I'm not even trying to compare him to him, but the looks are uncanny of him standing out there in pads.
Well, if you're even close, you're a heck of a player, and so he's got to be very happy about that. Matt Gacka led the way on the ground, just like last year, had a touchdown. But shotgun 5 wide, a.k.a. Dr. Defense, shotgun 5 wide, he might be hashtag 4th and 26 after this. Dr. D is wide
Dr.
open.
Spread.
Dr. Spread.
Dr. West Coast. The West Coast offense, vertical passing. I like it. Yeah. Page versus Siegel. Siegel, good team, trying to make a bounce back. They look pretty good. They lost their number one guy, running back, to Oakland, correct? Siegel came into this game. Page, trying to answer some questions of their own. What do we know about this game?
Well, it sounds to me, one, Siegel's got some, I've seen them scrimmage, they got some physical people, all right? So they're obviously a 6A program, but it sounds to me the Page game was a lot like the Summit game. Missed 2 field goals, blew some drives with some missed blocks and mistakes. So, yes, they got beat. Was there a whole lot of positives? Not a whole lot, but they were correctables. It's not like they just got lined up and mashed.
Right.
A lot of their wounds were self-inflicted.
Got to get the passing efficiency up. That was my only takeaway to watch this game. Had some good opportunities to score, just missed the passes. Whether it be high, whether it be behind,
And then Cade did hit Michael Burdick on one. You got a playmaker in Michael Burdick. You got a kid in Cade Walker who played most of the season, the second half of the season last year, who can do it. We just got to get it right.
And for the nightcap, the last game, the one everybody was waiting on, Ravenwood, Oakland. Let's not even spend time on it. 10-7 Oakland. Let me tell you, Matty D, Coach Daniels came out, ran a great trick play right off the bat. Just happened to miss the kid. He was wide open. That would have been a touchdown. But it is what it is. 10-7, great matchup. No reason to even dwell on it, because I'm going to tell you what, those two teams, you could not tell a whole lot of difference between those two teams. I was coming in with the expectations of, well, this one's over. We shouldn't even showed up. And then they took.
Is that sarcasm?
Just a little bit. And then they started playing, and I was like, you know what? Ravenwood's better than what I thought they were going to be.
That'd be a fun game to watch. It's six. There will be. I don't know, man. That would be a fun one to watch.
A lot of athletes on the
Any
field.
of these would be a fun one to watch with Oakland. But let's not forget, Oakland's got to get past Maryville.
That's right. And next year, hopefully, we'll see it for real.
That'd be awesome.
All right, here we go. This week, week 1, Battle of 840. Listen to this history. 2017, Page 1. 16, Fairview 1. 15, Page 1. 14, Fairview 1. They've alternated back and forth. Last 4 years, Chris Hughes in the 840 games, 11 years. He's 5-6 overall. Coach Rathbone in his 7 years, he's 3-3 currently. Head-to-head, they're 3-3, obviously. Total points, head-to-head, in the last 11 years, 130 to 114. Only 16 points separate these two teams. Man, what do you think?
Pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, heck yeah, it is. And it's always a fun game. And the last few, it starts off the season. Game day is always there. It's going to be fun, man. I love this game, and I don't see it being any different this year. I think it's going to be close.
Don't throw a wrinkle at you. Will the game not being held at Page have any bearing on the game? Turf not ready at Page.
That is official?
Well, it's tentatively looking like it's going to be at Nolensville. I don't think it has any bearing on the game. I think both travel, both teams are there, both their crowds are there. Obviously we're going to do game day, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. I really don't. I think they could play in a cow pasture and still have the same result. These two guys are going to go after it. They've circled this game on their calendars, and it's going to be awesome to watch. Franklin at Brentwood, the granddaddy of them all. Get this stat. Franklin has won the last four of the last 5. Last year, 14-10 Brentwood.
Yeah, and that game, obviously 14-10, was very close, which the way that the season unfolded for both teams, you think back to that, and hard to believe. But, yeah, I did not know that about 4 of the last 5. If you had told me that, that's not what I would have guessed. So, they're going to be ready. This is one of the more explosive offenses Brentwood's had in a while. Brentwood's going to try to score points. Coach Webb and them are going to have to protect the ball, kind of limit the amount of touches that Brentwood gets. Whichever one does a better job of that. If Franklin can limit the touches and score points, I think they got a chance. Low scoring game, again, 14-10. I think that's in Franklin's favor.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's a low-scoring game. We'll get to that in Pick'ems.
Yeah, I said if it's a low-scoring game.
What else do we have on week 1?
Oh.
Is this a pretty good game?
Yes.
Ravenwood versus Centennial. Centennial won 26-23 last year. You think Coach Daniels and the Raptors have got this game circled on their schedule?
Yeah, they've been waiting on this one.
Get ready, CU, because they're coming. I don't know. We'll talk about that. Indy versus Oakland. 38-6 last year. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. Put this one on your radar, Mr. Producer. It will not be 38-6. There will not be that big of a discrepancy on the scoreboard.
No, not at all.
I'm putting them on notice right now. Don't know that they win. I'm putting them on notice. This game is going to be
upset notice.
Upset alert. Put them on notice.
Boy, if they do beat them.
Oh, man.
What does that say about 6-6A?
That means it's a toss-up in the air for anybody to win.
It'll be fun. Yeah, it will not be 38-6.
No. Nolensville versus Fayetteville. Last year, Nolensville lost this in a heartbreaking fashion.
By 1 point.
Yes, 27-26. They were really wanting to win that game and get off right. There's no way they lose this game.
I don't think so either.
I've already reached in the microwave. I've already pushed 2 minutes. The popcorn is popping. Summit versus Spring Hill. Lost 21-20. Only beaten them one time in the history of Summit. 2013. Coach Coleman looking for his first win against Summit. 2 minutes. That popcorn's popping on this game for me. This will be the second time
Popcorn City
that Summit beats Spring Hill.
But are you predicting Popcorn City?
I don't know about Popcorn City, but it's going to be enjoyable to eat popcorn and watch this game because I really think Summit plays well.
I do too. They're ready.
So let's get to it. Pick'ems, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. First one, Battle of 840. You have to wait to go to game day to even get
That's
your
right.
pick on
I'm
that.
not giving that away.
Ravenwood versus Centennial. Who do you have?
Ravenwood, a.k.a. hashtag RaptorFast. But now let me tell you something.
My boy Christ.
The more times you put that ball in the air, that's more opportunities for who to get his hands on it? Jario Wilson. But I'm picking RaptorFast.
Jario, I love the kid. Love him. Coach Kreisky, CU, love what they've done thus far. It's just it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. I think they score early. I think they kind of break the hearts of CU. I don't think this game is very close. I really don't. I don't know if it's Popcorn City, but I think that Ravenwood wins this game pretty easily going down the stretch. Independence versus Oakland. Go on and say it. Mr. Producer, I'm going to take a lead in week 1 this year.
I'm telling you, I think
come on.
No, this is a different Independence team. Different chemistry. I think they can score points. Can they block those big old dudes up front?
They're big.
I'm going to go with Oakland. But if there's a rematch, because I think it could be Indy come back. I think Oakland wins, but if they do see each other again, by then, if this was later in the year, I'd be picking Indy.
Well, that's you've taken Oakland. I was worried that you were going to take Indy, and I was going to have to figure out what to do. So, Indy Nation, get ready. It's at home. It's on Channel 30. TV game. Coach Blade. Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Please, offensive line, get ready. Because these dudes,
I hope they beat
those
them by
guys are
40.
Those guys are they're dudes. They
look like a dang SEC.
They're big.
Yeah.
Well, they got four guys.
So what do? You get it out quick.
Get it out quick. 0.3 seconds.
Cisco's tall. He can see
0.3
over
seconds,
him.
according to Coach Blade. Route tree, be on the money. Put the ball there. Move those chains. T.J. Sheffield across the middle. We'll see how good that secondary is for Coach Creasy and the boys.
Ooh, they got an Oklahoma commit in their secondary.
Well, good luck. Good luck with that, OU.
Did you pick?
Indy.
Indy, gotcha.
Summit versus Spring Hill.
I'm going with the Spartans, man.
Old Sparty. Old Sparty rolls
I'm not willing to go Popcorn City, but I'm going Spartans.
Nolensville versus Fayetteville.
Nolo.
Nighttime. Nolensville wins that one.
This one could be bad. Tombstone City.
Popcorn City for Nolensville right off the bat. Brentwood versus Franklin, the granddaddy of them all. This one, I mean, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past years. Doesn't matter what your records are at the time. Throw them all out the window. This game will be a slobber knocker, as they like to say, a backyard brawl. Who wins this game?
Brentwood. And now, is this at Franklin? It is, right?
Mr. Producer will have to check on that.
It's at Franklin.
I
think so.
No, it's at Brentwood.
It's at Brentwood.
Yeah.
Dang, I was going to say it's on the turf.
Yep.
No, you're right. It's at, yeah. Hey, Franklin's going to be better this year, but I'm telling you, Brentwood, they might be really good. I'm going with the Bruins. The Brew wins.
The Brew wins. Get this win as well. I hate to say the Dr. defense, but they looked awful good.
I got to tell you now that Donnie Webb now, he's going to be prepared. They're going to have a good game plan. They're going to come out. They're going to be disciplined. We're anticipating a fight.
Mr. Producer, we had a perfect show today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on WCS Sports Connection.